What's the Simple Numbers Profit Playbook, Brandon?
Simple Numbers Profit Playbook is a roadmap to achieving financial success in your business. What we go through as we look at it is, what are the current market conditions? You've got to know what the battlefield looks like before you take out on it. So we look at the current market. Is it a market in which we can grow easily, or we got to work to get profitable with what we have? Once we do that, then we're going to identify and help people understand what their data looks like. Do they have distortions in that data? Because a lot of times you're looking at that profit and loss and that balance sheet, and it may have information or data on there or not on there that avoids you from being able to see how your business truly is performing. Once we get an idea of where we stand, we then look at a profit target. What should we be generating in profitability based on the size of our business? We measure that based upon what we call gross margin, which is going to be revenue and any non-labor direct cost subtracted from that. So we work really hard on what we call the business engine, making sure that we're hitting that profit target. The number one way that we do that is through this concept called labor efficiency. So we got to make sure we're getting a return on the investment that we've made in our labor. Once we get the labor efficiency where it should be, we make sure that we're driving that engine through effective marketing and reinvestment back into the business. Now you know what the market conditions look like. You know what your data should be. You know what your profit target should be. You know what levers you have to pull. You should have some cash. So then we start talking about how much cash do we need? What do we need that cash for? To make sure that we manage the cash flow properly. When we do all of those things, then we get to make a really cool decision. A business is generating cash for me. Do I take that money outside of my business and build wealth there, or do I reinvest it back into my business? You make the decision there, and many times it's a blended approach, and then you start the process all over again.
Do you have any cool success stories from anyone who's followed your principles?
We've got many of them. And so one that comes to mind right off the bat was a company we started working with. At the time, they were around $6 million in revenue, but they just weren't very profitable. We worked with them to identify what the issue was, because they had plenty of activity. At 6 million, they should be having $600,000 of profit a year, and they were well below that. And so the number one issue that they had was that they weren't properly leveraging their admin and management team. And so they had, too many folks in that bucket that really was built for a much larger company from an internal structure perspective. So we started working with them. They did a lot of great things and a lot of hard work, grew the company. Along the way, we kept them in that profit zone. They're now pushing $40 million in top line, and their net income percentage is well above 15%.
Let's go.
Yeah.